Hello everyone, welcome back to the Book Graveyard Vintage Genre Fiction channel here on YouTube. We're also out there in the podcast world. This will be a podcast episode also. I have a review for you. It's a classic mystery, and it is Death in Ecstasy by Ngaio Marsh. So that gorgeous cover there. This was originally published in 1936. That is a long time ago. This copy is, I'm just going to put it up on screen so I don't keep whipping it around. My copy is the Jove edition. It's the third printing from 1983. It's gorgeous, stunning, gothic horror cover art. And it's by George Zeal, who, little side note here, only because when I was looking it up, I just wanted a name, and then I came upon this article on the Lynn Monroe Books website about George Zeal, and it's a tearjerker. So just a little slight bit about him. He was born Jerry Zielinski. He is a Polish Holocaust survivor, and he's most well known for his crime and gothic paperback covers. Man, just finding that article, I wanted to do an episode all about him, but I feel like I would just be reading off the Lynn Monroe article. So I'm gonna put a link to that down in the description if you're curious to find out about George Zeal, because that was a history lesson. So I chose to read Death in Ecstasy after seeing it on Alex from the Bookubus Giallo July TBR pile. She said she was going to read it, and I said, hey, I got that on my shelf. And then I had a little bit of space in between my assigned books, so I squeezed it in real fast, and it was pretty enjoyable. So Death in Ecstasy is the fourth in the Inspector Allen detective series. I didn't know that it was a series when I picked it up. The reason I bought it was obviously for the cover. I mean, look at that thing. And I am trying to learn more about the classic mystery authors. So Ngaio Marsh was born in 1895, and she is from New Zealand. She's a New Zealander author. She's part of the golden age of detective fiction, and she's part of what they called the Queens of Crime, and also includes Agatha Christie, Dorothy L. Sayers, and Marjorie Allingham. It's December. It's pouring rain. It's cold in London. We're in the fictitious neighborhood of Knocklatchers Row, outside the building that contains the House of the Sacred Flame. Our inquisitive and bored reporter, Nigel Bathgate, decides that tonight is the night. He's going to knock on this door and see what this place is all about. A man dressed in ceremonial robes answers the door and lets him know that it's a members-only club. Buddy boy, let me see your pass card. Nigel doesn't have one. He's slightly deterred, and he starts asking what the House of the Sacred Flame is all about. The man gives vague answers and tells him to make an appointment if he really wants to know. All of a sudden, there's a knock on the door behind him. The man quickly turns to open the doors, and two men in the same attire exit, followed by a man who appears to be a priest. Nigel slips in while the door is open, and we get to attend the ceremony. Inside the building, there are 7 attendees of the service, 2 acolytes and the priest. Everyone is dressed in the robes. The esoteric rites are spoken, and Nordic names are dropped. It seems to be an amalgamation of the occult ideals and northern paganism. The room is described in spooky, gothic occult atmosphere. It's a mishmash of like eastern and northern. Anything that they could possibly shove in that was cool and creepy is in this room. And of course, it smells of incense. So the 7 initiates are in circle around the priest. There is a chalice of wine that is passed around the circle, ending with a woman who is seated in the middle of the group. She drinks the wine from the chalice, and she starts having spasms. She falls dead to the floor. Nigel runs up to the body. It looks like murder. Murder's afoot. So he calls his good friend from Scotland Yard, Chief Detective Inspector Allen, who arrives with the cavalry. The doctor, on scene, gives a diagnosis of murder by poison. And now that it is official, Detective Allen has started interviewing the members of the House of the Sacred Flame, and our investigation begins. So, yeah, there really isn't much to the setup of the murder. You get you get the rain, you get the temple, you get the old building, you get the creepy priest, you get the people in the robes, you get the incense, the smell, the sights, the sounds of a cult. Yeah, after that initial setup, it just goes right into the mystery, which is cool. It's what we paid our ticket for. We're getting right into the thick of it. It's a classic whodunit structure of a group of people in a contained area, each with a hidden backstory that is unveiled slowly throughout the investigation, and it throws shade, like in every direction. Everyone looks a little guilty. Red herrings, possible motives, sway the possibilities, but nothing is unfair. It's all fair play mystery. This book has a dark thread to it. I mean, other than murder. The dark thread for the living. There's a lot of heroin use, heroin addiction, and it gives the story a desperate and gloomy feel. It's not like uber depressing. It's not oh my god, Requiem for a Dream or anything. But yeah, but it's dark. It's dark in that sense. But it's cool. I like the setting. And I love that she has constant thunderstorms going on outside. I love a good thunderstorm and a mystery. It's cliche, but it's needed. It's like fog in a gothic tale. You gotta have a thunderstorm in a classic mystery. We got the cultish occult temple, and a book on how to make poison. And with this beautiful cover art by George Zeal, you got yourself a perfect mystery setting in your mind. We got our suspects, which include a highly questionable cult-like priest, a rich businessman from the U.S. You gotta have an American in there, and he says all kinds of course, like boisterous American take charge things. There's a snooty French guy. Wow, this is just filled with cliches here. We got a snooty French guy, a young hip couple. So we have true believers. There's true believers in the cult. There's a bitter old woman who says some nasty remarks about the deceased. And we have some servants with an astute attention to detail, and it makes for a great list of suspects. So as far as what I thought about the book, I don't know if it was the mood I was in. That's quite possible. You got to remember when you're reviewing these books or when you're reading them, your mood does matter. But I did find it a little hard to get into at first. But as the story entered the third act, I was definitely all in. I was 100% invested, but that initial kickoff did not completely grab me. So if you're going to attempt to read this book, be a little patient, or maybe you'll just be in the right mood, right frame of mind, and it'll start immediately for you. Also, I knew absolutely nothing of this series going in. I didn't even know that it was a series. And around page 50, I was very disoriented. I had to stop and Google just to see who was the principal detective. Because when it starts, and it's from Nigel's perspective, he's a reporter, and he's a very eccentric guy. I think he was very like he was like a Sherlock Holmes kind of dude. He just stumbles upon this murder. Very convenient, by the way. I didn't even mention that, but it's not important. All that matters is the murder gets started. But yeah, I thought that he was the principal detective. And then, as the narrative progressed and Detective Allen started coming in, I was like page 50, I'm like, who's the lead character here? So I thought that's what I was talking about earlier, where I thought it was a much later entry, because as these mystery series goes on, the author just expects that their audience knows the characters. They're not going to keep explaining who they are and their personalities. Every book, people know. They want to get to the murder mystery. But to, people reading it many years later, it can be a little jarring. I did enjoy the mystery, especially towards the end, when it starts unraveling and it's all explained, or they figure it out and you have your suspicions, who you think it is, and I don't know, that's the best part of the mystery, right? Is when you see if you're right. Was I right? Did I get it right? Did I get all the clues? And then I think that's the biggest draw to this genre. Coincidentally, on Instagram, the Paperback Archive account had just posted this book, and I commented that I had just read it and enjoyed it. And they said that it was adapted into a episode of the 1960s, the British 1960s series Detective. And I did watch it, and unfortunately it spends a lot of time on the one part of the book that I didn't really enjoy, which is the beginning, where I was waiting for it to kick off. So it was kind of, I don't know, it wasn't that enjoyable of an episode, but it was still cool to see. So cool to see the clips. So maybe I'll put some in. I don't want to get flagged or anything, but I'll definitely put a link for the episode down in the description. It is not how I pictured any of the characters. In my head, they all looked much different, except maybe the French guy. I think they kind of got the French guy right. And I think that that's actually another positive, another testament to Ngaio Marsh, because when she described them, I thought that I could see them in my mind. So sometimes I think that you don't realize while you're reading if the description is good or not until the book is over, and then you start to think about the characters and the scenes, and you realize that you had an image in your head of what they would look like. And I didn't think that the show nailed that really at all. But yeah, I'll put that down in the description, and go check out Alex's Giallo July videos. I guess I'm participating because I did this book. I don't know if I consider it a Giallo type story though. But if Alex says it is, then it is. So I'm participating, I guess. All right, and that's it. Thanks for watching. I will see you later.